worked in the field of law for quite some time, actually all my life.
Dr. Bas van der Leij went from judge and legal scholar to a leading privacy expert, reshaping how organizations understand data and human dignity. What was happening in your life when you realized the old way wasn't working and that there was a better way?
Actually, I wanted to expand what I was, what I learned and what I know and what I wanted to tell others. And that became a thing of its own, actually. And the shift came actually when I saw that in an organization you have tried to stand up for somebody's rights. Some people just laughed at you, and then you can see, okay, now I actually know what I stand for, and it's about human dignity, and I certainly want to share this with others.
Hello and welcome to Radical TV. I am Shawna Smith. Joining me here today is Dr. Bas van der Leij. Hello, Bas. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you.
Fabulous. Dr. Bas van der Leij is a privacy consultant and legal expert working with large organizations as data protection officer, senior privacy counsel, and privacy officer. He develops high-impact privacy training programs and helps professionals strengthen their privacy skills and practice. With a PhD in law and a background as university lecturer and judge, Bas combines deep expertise in privacy law, privacy management, and organizational impact. He is a widely published author in the field. You have an amazing and impressive background. And first, you've been at this for some time, correct?
Yes, I've worked in the field of law for quite some time, actually all my life. But the different topics there are different topics now. I started in criminal law as a assistant professor, and then I did it for a couple of years, and it was really nice. It's also nice to teach. I like to tell stories, and I like to teach people things. So that was pretty good for me. But at a certain point, I changed jobs, and I went to work for the Ministry of Justice, and there I found the topic of privacy. Before that, it wasn't really a big thing, privacy law and personal data and all of that. But from 2018, there became a new law enforced, the GDPR, European law, and then privacy really became a hot topic, a hot issue. And I started to look at that just 2 years before that. So I had kind of an advantage, and I started to work with that within the Ministry of Justice in a department that does a lot of research, so they have a lot of data. And from there on, I became a consultant. So I stepped over to the consultancy business. I did that for I think a year and a half, and then I thought I'll do it for myself. I'll start a business of my own, still in privacy law, and I still did the same thing. So still consultancy, and that's really nice. It's really nice doing that. And mostly I work with government agencies or NGOs, less in the private sector. But what I saw was that I could just handle one client. I'd like to expand actually my knowledge and to reach more people. I started to look at how I could do that. I followed the course of Stu McLaren, where you can start an own membership and a course. And then I thought, okay, that's maybe not such a bad idea. And so I started to look into that to see if I could reach more people, more privacy professionals, by the things actually I saw while I was working as a consultant, things that I think could improve the way privacy was handled.
Yeah. You've developed a unique method. Tell us what your method is and how it works.
So it's I call it the impact program, and it's about lifting actually. It's for privacy professionals, of course, and within the group of privacy professionals, I focus mostly on privacy officers. So that's a person who works mostly in a little bigger company. Then there are one or two, sometimes more privacy professionals. What you see in practice is that they don't get really recognized for what they do. And they sometimes speak the wrong language. They don't speak the business language. They don't speak in growth or in goals to meet and stuff like that. And they mostly speak in legal language. So that doesn't always fit very well. And so what you see is that they get isolated sometimes. They're not taken very seriously. And to change that, to make privacy more important and to start speaking the language of the decision makers in the organization, we started this program so that they can become from legal police to more that they can help the business forward and speak
Hmm.
the language of the decision makers.
Mm-hmm. That is a huge language barrier, isn't it?
Yeah, actually because they do speak a different language because the background is different. It's mostly about compliance to the law and stuff like that, and management isn't really interested in it. They are, they know they have to, but it's really they have to. It's not where their interest lies. It's not what the goals that they want to meet and the goals they want to attain. And you see time and time again in the organizations where I work, that these privacy professionals, they just hit the wall. The privacy officers, they hit the wall. They they also don't feel like being taken seriously.
Mm.
So if you change that, you don't have to change the way that you don't have to change their level of knowledge or anything. Mostly they know what they're talking about, but you must learn them to to change the way they speak and the way they talk about privacy issues within the organization.
What's the biggest lie that your target audience has been told that you have found is completely not true?
It is in sort of the same area that they actually say that privacy is very important. Well, in fact, in practice, they don't really they don't see that. They say sometimes, well, the law is also just an opinion. So actually, what you can say by word they say it's very important, but in their actions they don't show it. So they keep shutting the people who go, the privacy officers, they shut them out. So they say it's very important. They also put it on their website and on the privacy statements and everything like that. But when you go into the organization and have a real good look at how the dynamics work and how people work and how the processes are, it isn't that important. I think
Hmm.
you could say that's kind of a lie. Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. What was happening in your life when you realized the old way wasn't working and that there was a better way?
Actually, I wanted to expand what what I learned and what I know and what I wanted to tell others. So being a consultant is one thing that's really okay. But next to that, I wanted to teach actually more people about the things that I learned in an organization, how privacy is perceived within a business, and to actually to reach more people. So kind of an extra service, and that became a thing of its own actually, and it's really a thing that I really want to do right now. So we're developing this impact program, which is yeah, will maybe become the most important part of the business, and the consultancy will be more will be put more to the side, that we can more focus on this and on that side, on teaching people, and on a kind of a membership and stuff like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Was there a pivotal moment when everything shifted for you?
I had that moment. I have already thought about doing this, but the shift came actually when I saw that in an organization you have tried to stand up for somebody's rights, privacy rights, for citizens' rights. Some people just laughed at you and say, "Oh, or made fun of people who were complaining about breaches, privacy breaches, and stuff like that." And then I thought, "Oh wow!" So it's sometimes very difficult to just keep your ground in their organization, because mostly there are your colleagues, and they have a completely they have different views on that. And then I thought, okay, what is it actually that you're doing? You're being perceived as somebody who just puts the foot on the brake and says no and stuff like that. So you're mostly perceived as pretty negative. Why is it so important? And then I thought, oh, it is very important, because it's about a human right. In Europe, it's about a human right, actually, and it's about human dignity. So if you put it more on a more higher level, then you can see, okay, now I actually know what I stand for, and I can keep that. I can keep my ground on that idea. And then I thought, okay, I probably won't be the only one who sees this, and I certainly want to share this with others. Right. And so this privacy program, this impact program, was born from that idea. Yeah.
And you have such an extensive background in law, and you were a judge. What led you to this career? What, were you always interested in it, or how did you get there?
My mother, when I was very young, my mother said you should study law. That's really that would really fit you. So I didn't really know what, when you're in high school, and so you don't know what law, and you don't know about that. You don't know, you can't really. So I thought, okay, let's just do that. And then I wanted to become a lawyer in practice, a kind of defense lawyer or something like that. But I never became a practicing lawyer in that sense, because when I graduated, there was an opening for a PhD student about victims and criminal law, and when I studied, I did something with that. So I thought, oh, that's nice. So I did that, and I got the position. And from there, it's kind of it's a kind of a next step after you do your PhD is staying in academia. So I did that, and then it is not unknown in the Netherlands, where I studied and where I was an assistant professor, to become a part-time judge. So you combine the two. So you teach and you do a bit of judging, and that's really, the one enforces the other. So it's a really good combination to do that. So I did that for a few years. In the Netherlands, you don't get chosen as a judge. So maybe that's in America sometimes, but you get appointed by the Queen or the King until you're 70, which is a kind of a guarantee for being independent and not being influenced by whatever. So I did that for a few years. I'm still a judge, but I don't practice at the moment. I'm too busy. Yeah. Yeah.
You're too busy with your new program, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Who is your ideal client to work with?
As a consultant, my ideal client is actually an organization who wants to learn, but isn't there yet. So we look at that in maturity levels, and we have a kind of a scale. from 1 to 5, and if you're at 5, you're top of the class. You've done everything right. Everything is. You don't need a consultant. But I like the organizations who are the 1 or a 2, and actually most of the organizations are in the 1 or 2, so they're kind of the beginning stages. But they really want to learn, and they want to help. They want to go forward, and not just being compliant to the law, but they also have an inner idea about, okay, we really want to do this. And the other part is for instance, the privacy officer who would do this impact program as an ideal client. That would also be someone who is eager to learn something and to just take it all in, to want to go to that other position, a position where he or she can speak from an authority. You don't have to you don't have to be a director or a manager, but just the way in which you bring your message, and in the way in which you speak to your colleagues or to the management, and that's a privacy officer like that would like to do that, would like to be there in that position. That's also an ideal client, of course, because they're eager to learn. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So eager to learn is kind of probably a central thing in this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely a theme. And who specifically do you feel called to serve?
For this impact program, it is firstly the privacy officer, of course. So the people who work within the organizations, in the bigger organizations, but through them also the organizations, actually, because what I want actually is that privacy will really get into the DNA of an organization, and it's taken seriously, and it's a normal thing to just think about that and to take it into account if you start a new product or a new process or whatever, that you think, okay, what about personal data? How are we dealing with that? Can we use less than we think that we need, on personal data, stuff like that. And so, and behind that is, or maybe on the side is that that citizens and you and me are taking that our privacy and our personal data and our way of how we stand in the world and how we live are taken seriously.
Mm-hmm. It is such a big topic, and becoming such an important matter as things keep escalating, it seems, with technology.
Yeah, they do. Before we're in the middle of a digital age now, and it's before that we had we also have in Europe, we had privacy laws, but things were just written on paper and stuff like that. So the impact, like a data breach, the impact wasn't so big because there were just maybe some papers were put outside at the garbage or something. That was the data breach. It was or a letter was sent to a person, a different person. But nowadays you have it's all digital. So you have if you have a breach, you don't know where this data will end up. It can go all over the internet, or things like that. So the impact is so much bigger now, and privacy thereby privacy is also so much more important, because the impacts are so much bigger. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's important, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, the impacts are huge. What breaks your heart about what you see going on in your industry?
I see a lot of good things, and I'm not against technology that advances, so in artificial intelligence and all of that. I think it's good to just keep that these things develop. Maybe kind of breaks my heart is the way that organizations work with those regulations and the way that, so they see a lot of advantages in the way that they want to work. And so sometimes privacy is in kind of the so a bit on the, if you can compare it with a train with a lot of compartments, the AI and all of that, it's in the front, and privacy is a lot further down in the back. And it doesn't have to be that way, because a lot of them think that privacy and the GDPR is mostly a law that says something is not allowed, and that's not true. A lot of things are allowed because it's a free. One of the principles of the GDPR is that within the EU and the EER, information should flow freely. So that's a basic principle also of the GDPR. A lot of people who don't know much about it don't see that. They see mostly, it's a break, it's a stop. They stop everything. If you have to think about GDPR, you have to think about privacy. It's always a stop on development, and that's really a shame, because that's not true. It isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What would the world look like if everybody knew what you know?
It would be more privacy friendly. But it's not that I'm against development in technological development. But the things that I find important is that the sphere of the individual is taken seriously, and now with big tech and all of that, it's so much seen as a source of a way you can earn money, and get a lot of data and feed it to all these programs that are developing. And that is a bit out of balance. So I would like to restore the balance in that more, so that individual, the citizen, and is taken seriously, and
Mm-hmm.
that
And
way.
with your program, what kind of transformation are your clients seeing? Can you give us an example? Obviously, no names, but of how they're witnessing transformations with your work.
What they will see is, so what they will learn is in several steps. So it takes a few steps. You have to first see, okay, who am I, and who am I within the company, and what do I do actually, and what should I change in that. And then one of the things you will probably learn is to change your language, mostly when you're in a meeting with non-privacy professionals, but managers. You will learn how to speak differently, and in a way that the message comes across, that other the colleagues, that managers can hear that, can listen. Okay, now I get you. Now I get you. You learn to do that in conversations, but also in the way you write things down. So in an email or in a memo or whatever you write, that you learn to speak the language of the business. So that's then I think a very important part. What you also will learn is to see how others will do it, because it's not a one-on-one program. It's a program for more, so we can also learn from each other, which I think is a very important part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think that's one of the aspects that will help them really go forward.
What's possible for those that go through your method, and what can they expect once they've gone through your approach?
They can expect to be taken seriously in their job. most of them start off like pretty isolated, and you get to hear changes after they're already in, they're already done, and you get sometimes this shitty jobs. They just, just throw it to you and stuff like that. So you get to see that how that situation is, and sometimes they also don't really recognize it yet. That actually this is actually not okay. This is not the way it should be. So there's a transition from that situation to a more a kind of an equal partner in the business, talking about an important aspect of any process where personal data is involved, should be listened to. So they made the transformation from someone who is not really listened to someone who is. And it doesn't mean you always have to, it always goes your way, but it means that you're listened to, and the things you say are valued and have value. They have value, they do, but they don't always they are not always valued. And in this program, you learn that how to do that, how to do it in a way that they are valued, and that you are taken seriously as a important part of a process or a product that you're developing, or that's already in place. Yeah.
How can folks get in touch with you?
They can they can reach out on LinkedIn. I have my own LinkedIn profile, and we have the company, the Privacy Quotient Academy. It's also on LinkedIn. And I have a link tree that people can reach out to, and also on Facebook. But mainly it's LinkedIn. We're working on a website, a new website. We had one, but we're working on a new one now. It's not on online yet. So LinkedIn is the best way to reach out. Yeah.
Okay. And what has changed in your life, your business or your regular life, that has changed since working with a radical company that you did not expect?
That's so much fun, actually, to work on new products or new ideas, and to do it also in a group. Everybody has his own thing in its own business, but you work on very similar things to develop something, to get out there in the world and to talk about things. So that's really stimulating, and it's really fun, and it also holds you a bit accountable. And in the busy lives that we live, it's sometimes easy to say, I'll just do that tomorrow. It's too, I'm too busy right now. But being in a group like that is you really you want to do your thing, and you don't want to. So that's one of the things that's really nice. I really enjoy that, and being with the group, and also listening and hearing what the others are doing, and the struggles and the wins and everything. That's really nice. So that's a big one for me.
Mm-hmm. And if someone was considering joining the Radiverse, what would you tell them about your experience?
I would say you need to be of course an entrepreneur, and also the entrepreneur mindset. You need to have that. If you're a 9-to-5 person and you just want to do what your boss tells you, and you don't want to develop anything or be creative in a way. I won't say that, but that would be in my mind. If you're not that person, this is not for you. If you are an entrepreneur, you don't have to be an entrepreneur, but if you have ideas about that, and you want to create something, or you're with you have this idea and you think, I have to do something, that's really a place to go and to check that out. And I don't think you have to be an entrepreneur yet. It's just that you have to be in the right mindset, that you want to do something, you want to develop an idea and bring that forward and get it to the people that you want to have an audience that you would want to share things with. I think that's most important. Yeah.
Dr. Bas van der Leij, thank you so much for your time here on Radical TV today.
Thank you. Thank you.